Hey friends, Pastor Bill Walden here with Build Up the Church. This is a devotional word for March the 25th, 2024. I'll be reading out of the Gospel of Luke chapter 5, and in this section we see Jesus calling Matthew, also known as Levi. He was a tax collector. Jesus is calling Matthew to come and follow him. Here's the story. Luke chapter 5, verse 27. After these things he went out and saw a tax collector named Levi sitting at the tax office. And he said to him, "Follow me." So he left all, rose, and followed him. Now, tax collectors were viciously hated by the Jews in first century Israel. They essentially worked for Rome. They would bid on getting the job as tax collector because as they collected taxes for Rome, they could practice extortion against the Jewish citizens and keep whatever extra money they could make on the side. So they were seen as the worst kind of traitors against the nation of Israel, and the Jewish people absolutely hated them. So here Jesus is calling Matthew, also known as Levi, to come and follow him. Verse 28, he left all, rose up, and followed him. It's been commented that Peter, James, and John, who were fishermen, as they left their jobs, if things didn't work out to follow Jesus, they could go back to their jobs. Highly doubtful that Matthew could go back to his job because it would be taken very quickly by someone else. Also, Levi/Matthew is leaving a real money-making position to go and follow Jesus. So he's absolutely leaving his old life behind to go and follow Jesus. Now we see him in his new life as a Jesus follower, and here's what we read about him. Then Levi gave Jesus a great feast in his own house. So apparently he wants his fellow tax collectors and others to meet Jesus. And there were a great number of tax collectors and others who sat down with them, and their scribes and Pharisees complained against his disciples, against Jesus' disciples, saying, "Why do you eat with tax collectors and sinners?" Apparently Jesus overheard them. They were talking to the disciples, but Jesus overheard, and he responds, Jesus answered and said to them, "Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. I have not come to call righteous, but sinners to repentance." So Jesus here describes himself as the one who is seeking after spiritually sick people. I was thinking about this, how, I'm thankful that in the United States of America we have hospitals that we can go to. Medical insurance and all that is just a nightmare sometimes, and sometimes the service is not great, but at least hospitals exist, doctors exist, urgent care facilities exist for those who know that they need the help. But spiritually speaking, a lot of people don't know that they need the help. And as a pastor of a church, I want our church to be as welcoming as possible. I want our church to be as comfortable as possible and to be able to welcome people in and that they're comfortable in a social setting with friendliness, with physical comforts, nice seats to sit on, hopefully nice climate control inside the building, that kind of thing. I think that's all important. I think it's all valid. But there's other physicians that just need to be out in the street looking for the sick people that don't even know that they're sick. A lot of people, physically speaking, just can't make it to the hospital. They need, if you will, the EMTs, the spiritual EMTs, to go out and find them and rescue them. This is what Jesus was doing. He wasn't waiting for Matthew and his friends at the local synagogue. Jesus went and had dinner with them. The religious leaders created a fuss about it, and they thought a holy man would never eat with a tax collector or other sinners. But Jesus saw himself as a physician. I think about a combat medic in a war zone. He's there in all of the dirt and all of the mud and all of the blood and all of the shooting and all of the fighting. And he's simply taking care of people. And that's the heart of Jesus, and I love that. And I pray that every Christ follower, that you'd find your place where you're not just inviting people into the hospital, into the church, but that you see yourself as a medic out in the field, ready to help those who don't even know that they need spiritual help. That's the heart of Jesus. So thanks so much for watching. Some things for you to consider. God bless you as you're out there in the field as a spiritual EMT, emergency relief person. God bless you as you're out there. Thank you. Bye-bye.